Hello guys, and welcome to the Monolith, an experimental pyramid-based design with an overpowered funnel wall and 2 full bunkers. Taking a look at the cost in the upkeep on screen now, you'll see that the upkeep is absolutely minuscule for what we're getting. The actual raid cost of this base is about 50 rockets, not counting turrets, shotgun traps, or anything else that you can imagine. So if you guys have any other questions, join my Discord, link is always in the description. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe, leave a like, comment. I'd love to hear what your feedback is and all that fun stuff. Let's get into a tour, guys. Alrighty guys, starting at one of the 4 externals of the base, we can jump on in here. Less than 1,000 metal frags and stone a day on each of these. Disconnecting our externals like this, we can then reconnect it like so. These are obviously your basic disconnectables used if your main TC is broken. You can disconnect your externals and replace main. Jumping over to our other external, there's 2 of each of these, so a little less than 1,000 of each, and we're good to go. This base is a super cheap upkeep, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Jumping into our gatehouse here, you'll see we have some Patrico peaks in a compound around our little funnel sections. Going further in, you'll see the furnace funnel. We have our auto turret above watching the angles. This is obviously mirrored on the other side of the base as well. And we obviously have lots of Patricos into this section. Either way we pick here going forward is going to have a shotgun trap funnel section, stopping us from going any further on either way. And right here, we actually have bunkers and an auto turret pod that watches a ton of our pyramid. Placing twig like so, we have a bunker. Now I've only put the minimum amount of stuff in here, but obviously you can min-max, get way more in here. I've just done 2 large boxes and a battery, which is obviously needed for our turrets. Going up and into the starter unit real quick. This is what we call probably our starter unit and just kind of our main loot before splitting to bunkers to have real overnight protection. This floor is just tons of storage. We're looking at 9 boxes here. You can obviously min-max and get way more in here, but that's just the basics of it. Going down to our starter unit, you can see we have a very long door path to give us a nice expensive raid cost. More box space down here. Obviously I haven't min-maxed anything, so it's just as basic as it gets. We do have our main TC upkeep, which is dirt cheap. 2.6k metal, 2.5k stone, and 43 high coal. Absolutely nothing. This is where the main team bags are in this section. But let's continue back out to the funnel section before being done. As you guys can kind of tell already, this base is extraordinarily small, cheap to make, and it has a ton of defense points and everything. It's meant for if you want to have a different take on a wipe. I played a wipe out of a pyramid base, which you can find on my channel, and it was absolutely amazing and super fun. Going into these bedroom modules, I've only set them up for 1 bed per, but you can obviously put 2 with a locker here instead. That offers the Patrico head glitch into this area on that compound furnace. And then obviously we have more little breach peaks that go out, all protected by an auto turret, which you can see the auto turret just kind of watches everything. These auto turrets are beautiful. Even these corner compound ones can just shoot super far. It's perfectly spaced and everything. You only need 6 turrets for this entirety of this base, but don't let that discourage you from doubling up, as the new turret limit is about 12, I believe. So 6 is just for the basic restraints of the entire base. It only needs 6 to function. Alrighty guys, without further ado, if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. If you like the concept or you'd like to see more like this, let me know as well. And without further ado, let's get into the actual build of this base design. Alright guys. Alrighty guys, looking at the footprint from an outside view here, we can tell that it's really just a basic 2x1, but much more expanded to give us more room, space, honeycomb, and all that stuff. So the inner 2x1 like this, expanded with honeycomb, is our starter unit / main loot space. These over here are our bunkers on either side, our funnel wall, breach peak, bedroom modules, obviously our externals, and our gatehouses on either side. Alright guys, remember, if you have any questions, let me know down in the description below. I will be trying to build as simply as possible, but we all know that does get difficult at times. I will be using some build grade and stuff like that, but for now, we're just going to start off the build. Start off by a triangle and a square, and upgrading everything to stone. Some of the stuff will be upgraded to a different build grade, as I have that on right now. Double door, Let's add our TC here. I personally like to pull it a little closer to the right. Doesn't really matter. And either window, door it, or whatever you'd like to do. In this case, we're going to be dooring it and temporary garage door. Now I'm going to turn on some build grade as it is needed. Continuing forward, let's make the rest of our basic 2x1 a square, 2 triangles, walling it all in, and adding our single door airlock. At this point, we are living out of a pretty basic 2x1. There isn't much to this. It is just the basics that everyone should be accustomed to at this point. You can also add a shelf in here. This is one of the methods you can do it. There's easier methods out there. I'll just be spamming some boxes as it is not super difficult to understand this part. And then personally, I don't like to window this section off here until I upgrade the back wall here to sheet metal or high qual. So instead of adding this window here like I'd like to do later, I'll literally leave it twig or something just to remind myself to upgrade it at some point. This is just something I like to do. It's personal preference though. Start off with a very basic module. We're good. This is our starter unit. Coming out now, we can finish the starter by adding and walling in what will be our entrance into base. Continuing the expansion. Super bog standard, nothing crazy. There actually is overhead room in this base above here that could be used from the pyramid, but that is personal preference whether you'd like to use it or not. Personally, I don't like to, but if you need the extra box space, you can make like a little like cave up there, as we like to call it. And this is about everything. We add boxes through here. I'll window this one off early. We obviously don't have a jump in yet, but we'll do that in a second. I'm just liking to add my deployables. Now I'm going to turn symmetry on for just a second. What we're going to do is we're going to honeycomb this side on each side to look like this. Off the square, one high triangle, honeycomb. And all this is doing is giving us our entrance into base like this. And obviously I've turned off symmetry now, so on this side you just do a little more honeycomb. But now I will be re-adding symmetry on and finishing the footprint. So off of every triangle, we're going to want to place a square like this on the ground. So square, 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 and then filling in the triangles with triangle, 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 triangle. That is the basic footprint. Now obviously we want to expand that and finish it off, but first let's add our jump up into base, add our single door here, a triangle. If you have a building skin, I really do suggest using it. Trust me, it will make it easier for mobility purposes. Window there, and let's continue this. You can add another one of these, like so. And now we're going to honeycomb in the first level on the entire thing. Now you could partition this a lot. All you need to do is this. That's all the partitioning you technically need to do on this honeycomb before sealing it off, like so. Now coming here and literally sealing off the entirety of this as honeycomb with another wall, and now coming to the top and doing 3 triangles. I will admit this base does look better when you have building skins. As you can see here, I think it just has a better look. Even just with the brutalist skin, it just looks better. Now 3 more triangles off of here to make our foundations for our bunker. Sheet metaling this one, as this is what is going to hold up our bunker. This is stage 1 of our base design. This is all you need to do as the basic starter. From now, we're going to add the 4 externals.
Alright guys, before moving any further, let's talk about upgrades before we put our externals on. Now obviously this base is all out of stone at its current moment. You're obviously going to want to upgrade the cord HTM and all that stuff later, but I'm going to show you basically what we do on the thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this base is so cheap, just sheet metal the entirety of the outside of it. And basically that's all you need to do for external upgrades. Obviously there's a ton of stuff to do on the internal stuff, but if your base is looking like this, it is going to be menacing for any group to kind of take over, which is perfect, and that's what we want. So, starting out our externals now, we are going to be going 8 squares out of twig, off these triangles. Obviously, you have symmetry on, and we'll be doing this on both sides at once. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Break all but the last square, and come back with triangles. This is what we'll be left with. And I can remove everything here. This is kind of the final footprint. It's a hexagon like this, and that means you are good. To make our actual external here, which is a square and 3 triangles, I'm going to be upgrading this guy, and then making our external. Now, I know there are a million different ways to do these externals. This is the variation I'm going to propose, as it's 8 rockets, and it works. That's really all I have going for it. That's all I need it to do, and that's all I want to do on my wipes, so it's nothing too crazy. Also, be aware I do use a glass window here instead of a garage door to save on gears. Alright. And we can break that twig and make our entrance. I prefer double doors. You could just use single doors if you like them more as well. And this is obviously our disconnectable at its earliest stage. I'm placing all deployables as I go to make it easier. Continuing through, we can build the gatehouse, which is nothing special. And that is that on both sides. Now I want to get our compound up before we do all the internal stuff, but be aware that these bunkers should be added at your earliest convenience. So these spots will be bunkers, but let's finish the base first. The compound rather. Add twig off of this square. We're gonna go 6 squares out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breaking our build out and coming back with triangles. And finally, a square. Now breaking everything and leaving this square twig, we're gonna place 2 triangles, followed by a square, a triangle, and now we're left with a triangle, where we can make a hexagon, 1 raised, square, square, double, triangle. That's what the footprint looks like, and that is good. Off of here now, we're gonna sheet metal this guy. I'll add a sheet metal wall just to make it easy right away. And I'm going to build 4 squares out and make another basic disconnectable. This is obviously a different variation of a disconnectable. This one is to give us a little more distance. If we did the other variation on this side, it would not work, as the TC would be slightly too close to the base, and obviously that doesn't work for us because it just won't work. Same exact module. Now you won't be able to place this here because of the half wall, so you'll have to add a temporary foundation and frame like that. Okay, continuing through now, I'm going to switch back to stone. I'm going to upgrade all the foundations as seen here. Obviously, this at your own pace. You don't have to do it at these grades right away. That's what we're looking at. Make a little breach peak modules. I prefer if you are to use any type of building skin here. I'm going to use Brutalist because I think it looks the best. And then embrasures, top this guy off. Coming over here, add these walls like this. Now we're going to make this little module, add a twig here, 2 half walls, cap these guys off, low wall, and a window. And this is just to not interfere with the wall placement. We want to make sure we place all this so it doesn't mess with anything later and we have to break a wood wall. But after all this is placed, we're technically ready to place our wood walls, and they are pretty self-explanatory. Off the corner of this guy here, just go straight out. Alt look to get your proper distancing, and that looks pretty darn good. That's perfect. Same thing on this side, like this. Now continue to make our compound. Let's add turret pods above this section. And then same kind of thing here. I'm trying to build this base in the progression that I'd like to see you do it in game to give you the best chance of winning online raids and all that fun stuff. So this is where we're going to want to put our turrets down before making all of our internal stuff. Coming over here and sheet metal in these two guys, this is going to be our bunker modules. Put a shelf in here. One side gets a shelf, one side gets batteries. Just like so. I also do like to throw a garage door in here. And then showing how to work the bunker. Place the wall at the desired grid you want, and place a roof triangle, a twig triangle like this, to open the bunker. Now, be aware that there is still a slight gap, as seen right here, until we do this. Place this triangle, place a floor frame off of this triangle, and the bunker should then have a little piece that closes that gap. As you see, that's gone. Make sure when you place that frame that the bunker still opens and operates. You have to place this frame while the bunker is open, otherwise it will not work. Now coming up here, we can also make the secondary turret pod. Shall we double up on turrets? Now the windmill goes 3 high off of this. 2 triangles. I only plan on supporting 6 turrets per battery, so this height will work perfectly fine, as I don't want them too high to annoy me in case anyone ever gets there. In a real wipe, rather. And now let's start adding our metal barricades, now that our turrets are up. This is just the pacing that I usually find myself doing on real wipes, so I try to emulate that on a build server for you guys. About now is where I start adding these things in here, along with my furnaces, which I'll do in a second. I'll actually come over here. And apologies for the lag, guys. Been having a storm all day and have had to re-record this a few times. These are for the funnel wall section, so we can stone these guys right away. Okay. The walls, or the furnaces, you can place like this pretty easily. Perfect. Makes it easier if you haven't placed these barricades yet, but if you have placed the barricades, you can still place them from right here. It's harder to line it up perfectly, like this. Alright, adding the barricades in now. Pretty easy process. Now I'm obviously flying, but you place it from there. Oop. Yeah, a little bit of lag everywhere on my end, which is okay. Could be worse. Oop. Yeah, not good today. Not fun, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Hopefully we get fiber internet here soon. No more satellite internet for me. Would be very nice. Maybe I could stream and all that. That'd be fun. And placing these 2 guys. That is that part of compound perfectly done. As you can see, everything's kind of upheld. This is technically the base done. Everything but the proper interior funnel wall. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean by that. Obviously, the section looks very open and undone. There's no bedrooms here, there's no modules, there's no nothing. So let's do that. Adding a wall, a door frame, a window, door like this. Sorry for the gibberish. We have our bedrooms made pretty easily. This is obviously the way I like to do it. If you have another method, please do it. I had a locker here, but be aware you could also just put 2 beds here instead. It's personal preference. I'm not gonna hold you guys to that. It's whatever you think you need. Also add your embrasures in here to make that tighter angle. Followed by your locker, your bed, and obviously please add your double doors, and you're good. Now what are we missing exactly? Well, off this area right of main, we need to place a triangle and upgrade this guy. This then creates the funnel section like so. You're obviously going to do this on every side. So when you're coming through from this furnace area, let's say this is the gatehouse, we're coming through. This section, if you want to go through this section, you have to go this way and then face it. A shotgun trap. If If you want to go this way, you need to face a shotgun trap yet again. I don't know why that shot me. A little weird. Let me grab off. I think we're good. Yeah, a lot of weird server issues I've been having recently. Okay, we're gonna fly over that. That's a very fun sanctuary bug, and continue adding them. I don't want to replace this. I don't want it to happen again. So, finishing off this side of the base. Oh my god, tell me if you saw that, guys. We are good. And now coming on top of this little module here, add a twig. I like to add these guys, and their reasoning is to then add these barricades to make it harder for raiders to obviously traverse this area. They can't really jump from here to here to here without, yeah, that's the point. That's perfect. That's what we want. And that is what we want. So we're good on that regard. Alrighty. At that point, the entirety of the base is done except final upgrades. So I'm going to be going over those now, as they are kind of important and really do play a part in the defense of this base. So on the outside of the base, this China wall type module / funnel wall, what we want to upgrade are these two squares on each side. That is to protect your bedrooms a little more, just to make it so they don't splash directly into them, thus causing them to spend more rockets going through alternative routes. Those are the only two that need it. Okay, coming to the gatehouses, I do suggest you sheet metal the gatehouses like this. That's all it needs. But if you can as well, sheet metal the top of this to protect that auto turret. That is very important, and those can save your wipes dearly. Coming into the interior, obviously this base is entirely stone. We haven't finished this thing off. You need to sheet metal everything on the interior. Remember, this base is dirt cheap in all honesty. There is no upkeep on this thing, so you can spam a ton of resources in this thing, and it's not going to be 20k upkeep. It's going to be cheap. Armored door goes here. Anything you can reach, anything you can get, sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal. And that's kind of the whole thing with this thing. Coming down to first floor now. Everything gets sheet metal going into this module. This wall gets armored. Coming further in. Now obviously breaking this twig to be able to finally reach this back wall, we armor. We can sheet metal, sheet metal. I'd like to armor if you can. Sheet metal, sheet metal. If you can armor this. Oop. And that's why we leave that twig, by the way. Yet again, coming to armored. Armored. We can remove this box. Armored. Armored. Sheet metal. I liked to have this armored, but it only needs to be sheet metal. Same with this guy. It's a little annoying to get this one from the bottom, but it's possible. And then the armored here and armored here. This is the technical upgrades for the entire thing. I'm going to replace my boxes, and we're going to be good. Cool, cool, cool. Do-door, do-door. If you do want to do the lazy box method, there you go. That is perfect. Every door, garage doors. You don't need a lot to make this base really expensive, and that's what's beautiful about it, because the main base can be built day one as a starter, and then you can pop out from the rest of there. So if you guys do have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, without further ado, my name is Nine. I'll see you in the next one. Also, be aware, you can use this attic space. It is very fun and cozy. I suggest soft siding up through here. If you do want to use it, it adds just an extra layer of, I don't know, personal touch to it, which I find very fun. It's gonna be easier if you make this sheet metal, but it's a very hard jump, be aware. But it's fun to roleplay in this area. It's always beautiful. That's my favorite part about pyramid bases. Alright guys, enough rambling. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.